Oh,
Yeah, that's a new feature. Wow. Okay. Excuse me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's AMA for Trade the Chain. It is Friday, July 9th. Happy Friday, everybody. Glad you could join us. We have with us, we have Ryan Gorman, as you know from the Daily Show, NFT Hair. Trading Nichols from the Army Barracks. I don't know, I'm not sure. And of course, everybody knows our Chief Community Officer in Discord, Nick Mancini, and of course, the co-founder and CEO of the TIE, Josh, is with us as well. So, happy Friday, everybody. Before I give it to Ryan to kind of go over everything, I just want to say, don't forget to join us 1:30 today. We have Simon Yu. We're doing a StormX AMA with him. And then also, as we go through this AMA, and we always say, don't forget, we have a Q&A and a live chat here as well. So ask all the questions you want so we can answer them. Other than that, Ryan, it's all yours.
Alex, thanks a lot. Great to see everyone. It's been a while since we had the whole group together on a Friday, so it's nice to have everyone here. This is just a reminder that all content provided by Trade the Chain is strictly for educational and informational purposes only. Absolutely none of this is investment advice, and it should not be construed as such. Besides, why would you listen to any of us anyway? Just a quick rundown of what we're going to cover during today's AMA, inclusive, of course, of everyone's questions as they roll in. Josh has some great research from the TIE, a handful of compelling charts, as he's put it. Nick is going to go over why we'll have a range-bound Bitcoin potentially we likely will have a range-bound Bitcoin that could potentially start to grind higher. And then also what ETH's divergence from Bitcoin means for the second largest crypto asset. Alex has an update on the SENT coin AMA. He also has some updates about a new channel in Discord, the airdrop page, and some coins that we listed this week. And Nichols will share some of his trading gems, and he's been lighting it up lately. So can't wait to see what he's got for us. First, we'll head over to Josh.
Hey, all right, let me get these charts up. So I got 4 charts to go through. First thing here, oh wait, can we get attendee screen sharing?
Yep.
By the way, if anyone at Zoom is listening, can you please allow attendee screen sharing by default?
Do you think they're listening, Josh?
If anyone here is an investor at Zoom, or if anyone just wants to ping them on Twitter or anywhere else and be a good person, like, please tell Zoom, just always enable attendee screen sharing. It's so frustrating.
Just make your meetings easier, right, Josh?
No, there's never a meeting in which I don't want someone to be able to share their screen. I don't understand. So here, Axie Infinity went to the moon, went absolutely insane. And the average daily sentiment score has gone to the highest point that we've seen year to date. So daily sentiment, started to surge, and then Axie's price just went absolutely berserk.
That's wild. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, yeah. I don't know. Our team is writing a research piece on Axie, which will be made available for free. I'm hoping that rolls out next week or the week after. And so I'm sure they'll go into why that's the case. I actually heard that in, I believe, the Philippines or a few other countries, people are actually like working and like, playing Axie or whatever. I don't really know that much. It's some game with digital kitties or something, but that's actually, they're making a living based off the Axie Infinity, which is kind of interesting.
What?
So, yeah, they're like companies that employ people to like play Axie to make money. It's kind of like the World of Warcraft thing. I mean, that's like Brock Pierce. That's how he got started, made all of his money is, off of like trading World of Warcraft type collectibles. So I guess similar kind of thing.
We are in the wrong line of work, Alex. We could be playing CryptoKitties and making a living. I don't know where I went wrong.
Yeah. And your living would have increased by like 300% in like 4 days. So that's pretty impressive.
What have I accomplished? What have I accomplished in life?
So Axie has also become the most talked about crypto project, NFT project, passing Decentraland. So also pretty interesting. And, a few of these other assets are just kind of middling. So just something interesting to watch on the TTC dashboard is, how much people are talking about these assets.
When looking at these two and the divergence between them, right? What I understand why Axie went up so much, but why do you think, or what has the data shown you why Decentraland or why Mana has gone down as much as it has? Because it just, I mean, it was always the dominant one. It doesn't make sense to me that it would drop by that much.
Well, I mean, it's dropped by about half,
Uh-huh.
and from the from April. And I think something to note is like the entire market has kind of stopped talking as much about crypto. So overall tweet volume is down a lot. And so I don't think it's anything to do with Decentraland specifically. They had a few announcements earlier this year. Every time Barry Silbert decides he wants to tweet about Decentraland, the tweet volume spikes back up. I think it says more about Axie than it does about Decentraland.
Fair enough.
Which may be a cop-out answer, but that's my cop-out answer.
Sometimes the cop-out is the answer.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. I know that Alex is a big fan of Stani and Aave and what they're building there. Aave announced the launch of Aave Pro for institutional clients. The price went crazy. It went up by 25%, and Twitter volume surged by 57% after Aave announced Aave Pro was being rolled out. But just like everything else in the market, it went back down. And I think it's an important thing to note is that sig devs, significant developments aren't always long-lived. And if you're going to take advantage of some of this news and some of this information, getting it in real time is incredibly important. And being able to act on it and knowing, that you got to take your gains when you take your gains, because a lot of times, a lot of this stuff is buy the rumor, sell the news. So something that was interesting. And, I thought this was kind of funny. The former CFTC chair said that Bitcoin ETF would be good for investors and regulators, and price crashed, but sentiment went up. I thought that was kind of funny. It didn't really have much of an impact on the market. So interesting. Back in the day, all this stuff used to have such a big impact, and now there's just so much news out there. There's so many people involved that, things like a regulator or a former regulator saying anything is not going to have much of an impact.
I mean, it only went down like $2,000, right? It didn't 3,000. It didn't necessarily crash, but it definitely did drop.
That's 10%.
That's a Wednesday in crypto.
That's still 10% on Bitcoin.
I do feel the impact, the sentiment impact from whether it's irresponsible influencers or regulators has negated a little bit. Don't you think, Ryan?
It depends on who tweets, right? I don't want to name any eccentric billionaires hurtling themselves into space, but I mean, when he tweets versus when some other people do, I think it has an impact, right? And what about that other guy who was the early Dogecoin investor who tweeted about some other coin that went up like 1,000%, and then Dogecoin dropped like 20% in a week? So some people still do have an impact, but they're fewer and more far in between, right?
Folks, if you didn't catch yesterday's Trade the Chain daily episode,
Tiger King coin, that's what it was.
Forbes wrote about one of the early big investors of Dogecoin getting out of Doge and going into the Tiger King coin. You can't make this stuff up.
The ticker on that TKS.
We're not listing the Tiger King coin. Just so
I'm not asking. I just saw that it pumped a lot. I remember what you said, and I thought, what can hold on to something that it's not going to have a season 2, like you said, right?
Exactly.
What would season 2 be? Like Orange is the New Black? Like that's basically what it would be.
I have a completely different sentiment perspective on the recent market moves.
Sure.
So what I'm completely noticing, and this was, I talked about this on CoinScrum earlier today, and I've talked about this with a few TTC community members, is that fundamentals are no longer driving market action to any real significant degree right now. So although you can, I do believe that, causation does not always, realize correlation. What we're seeing right now in equities is technicals are, you can line up, double tops, RSI divergences with Twitter chatter, and then subsequent price action. So I think right now the market is really being moved by technicals being talked about widely through a sentiment and social media lens, and then exacerbated on the chart due to more people realizing what's happening in real time, rather than a reaction to, let's say, Elon Musk or a CFTC chair. I do believe that maybe that is some sort of catalyst and there is a causation there. But what we're seeing right now is massive spikes on technical events that I used to only talk about in the community, and that are now being spread around a lot on Twitter. And if you actually go and keyword search, if you search double top, RSI divergence. There you can see massive Twitter chatter for those specific events in relation to both equities and crypto right now. And we're seeing that reflected in sentiment, because sentiment volatility has been in almost an equal range, an equal percent range as Bitcoin price volatility. And you're seeing sentiment and price match up extremely equal right now. With sentiment generally leading, but we're seeing this technical influence much more than fundamentals before. And I think that may just be a dearth of news. Like the biggest news this week was EIP 1559. Like what Bitcoin and crypto news was there that was any significance to the market whatsoever? Pretty much
sponsored a NASCAR, Nick. That was what was.
We did that. Yes, we did that. Hashtag SENT. But for Bitcoin, I don't think that was moving the price much. So that's my take right now on sentiment, and I think that's going to actually. I think that's going to continue further for the time being until we get another fundamental news driver. Like maybe when a real mining report comes out, not one by the Bitcoin Mining Council that was super easy to spoof. When something like that comes out, that's what I'm looking for as the real driver to say Bitcoin above 36K is printed in the news.
I'm curious to see, and I'm going to be following this, Nick, and I want to see your commentary over the next couple of weeks as we go into the London fork. With the first, I guess, protocol change happening August 4th is on Ethereum. I want to see if people are going to run up Ethereum going into that, only to get disappointed and watch it drop right after that. And that's going to be interesting.
How dare you?
Ethereum
only go up. How dare you?
Buy the rumors, sell the news. Buy the rumors, sell the news. It works every time in this industry.
I agree, and I think that's why. Listen, obviously, my personal opinion. We do the legal disclaimer in the beginning, but I believe a lot of people are going to get disappointed on the 4th of August.
The great thing is there's a dip. Dips are dip buying opportunities. So that we saw that like with the Bitcoin halving, right? Bitcoin ran up above $10,000 or around $10,000. And then 2 days before the halving, it like crashed to $7,000. As people got nervous that there was going to be a sell-off. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of days before EIP, you saw a sell-off.
We'll have a good bargain opportunity. We'll have a good sale.
My birthday is August 2nd, so if that happens on that day, I'm cool with it. I'll have a little bit of extra birthday money from grandma. So
the Mancini massacre, that's what it'll be known as if
Ethereum
drops below 2,000.
Yeah, write that on my tombstone, will you, Ryan?
I feel like we see the pattern on Cardano a little more often because they have a lot more roadmap steps that are obvious and big and changing. And sometimes it pumps the price and it drops. Sometimes it just keeps ADA from falling when the rest of the market did. Ethereum they could follow any one of the few patterns that we've seen with Cardano and news of, hey, we have something new, big and coming. Sometimes it's a pump, sometimes it's not. It could be a mix of any direction.
Well, I think with Shelley hard fork, that was the case, right? Where it had a pretty big sell-off right when that was announced.
That I don't remember.
A couple months leading up to it and then just boom, down.
All right. Nick, since you've already shared a bit about what you've been looking at in the markets, I know you had a great conversation this morning with CoinScrum with Paul over there. Can you share a bit about a bit of some of the research that you went over with Paul and kind of summarize that discussion for us?
Precisely. Let me go ahead and get my screen sharing going.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that enablement. Let me make sure I'm getting the right link. There we go. Okay, cool. So actually, let's go ahead. I'm just going to review a few of the things that we went over with in CoinScrum very quickly, not to take away from that. But basically, like I said, there was no real news, like UFC, like Visa, like nothing was significant in terms of being a news driver. And I want to hone in on this bit of TA, and I'm going to go back to the real chart to kind of deliver it. But basically, the last week I had said that basically the range was going to be the same, and we actually dipped obviously into this near the weekend like we did last weekend. So this was basically where we were last weekend, right here. I said down here, up here is basically our range. And we were a little bit below that, tilting down, which isn't terrible, but obviously we were making higher highs before. So to see this dip making a quote unquote lower low is not entirely enticing. And we actually saw that reflected in sentiment, is that people were noticing lower lows. You can keyword search that. we saw decreased sentiment that led to lower price action. So basically, like, heavy support right here is basically kind of where we're sitting, but I expect it to drop down a little bit if price does decrease. Not entirely expecting that based off current sentiment and technicals, but it is good to be aware. But it is very, very important to note that 36K is basically the resistance for the time being. So we saw basically that wick right here touched, I think, like 35.9, immediate rejection underneath the 200 moving average, which is the darling of the institutional traders right now. So basically this blue line, if it cracks it, it's basically got another kind of key liquidity range at 36K to crack. But I believe that Bitcoin will move from this level and up over the weekend, very similar to what we saw last weekend. Someone or something very much likes the idea of low volume over the weekend. And I believe that we may see a repeat of what we saw last weekend, AKA, you know, some rising price action during a time in which we generally see less price action. So that's my point.
Yeah, I think you're right there, right, Nick? Because when you're looking at the sentiment chart for Bitcoin, it's actually spiked over the past, say, 24 hours and brought price up with it about 2%. So it looks like sentiment is rallying heading into the weekend, and it could potentially bring prices with it because you have that low volume, high volatility trade. And weekends, typically you see price, you see a sell-off towards the end of the weekend before that Monday buy-in. And maybe this weekend is different. We can hope, right? Perhaps?
Precisely. I mean, and that's pretty much the goal here is, and I had shared this earlier to kind of make I didn't want to give everything away that we gave to CoinScrum, but no, you're 100% right. When I'm seeing price action stagnate and sentiment rise, that means someone's prepping something, and that Twitter is noticing that something is being prepped. Now, it's not always 100%, but if I'm basing my decision making off of, I like sentiment to increase, I realize that someone is very much realizing that low volume is a good opportunity for them, and Bitcoin is hitting a key support level while, and this is very important, while hash rate very much is bottoming from 62 terahashes to 100 terahashes in 12 days, which is a 60% increase from the recent low. All this is pointing to me that Bitcoin has a bullish narrative and it no longer has a fully bearish narrative.
So those mining's still easier right now, so it makes more money as well.
Yes,
because the difficulty was adjusted easier, so a lot more people are like, hey, it's extra profitable. Let's turn it on, crank it up.
That hash rate is recovering likely because all those machines that were taken offline in China that have been brought over to the US and elsewhere are likely coming online. And it's just another sign of resilience in the market where China's impact was immediate, but it's not going to be long-term.
Exactly. Big news story lately was difficulty was decreasing. So a lot of people were clamoring in back to get, good return on mining. And then, I mean, Alex just shared a story that Rob from Digital Asset News had shared, which is an ongoing development of mining moving into Florida and Texas and Wyoming and Kazakhstan and, places that are not communist and under the control of the Chinese party. So I believe that, as we look forward, if hash rate is increasing, as long as sentiment is increasing too, then Bitcoin has a much better outlook than before. And I can get into fundamentals and macroeconomics all day, but we don't even need to because I love the data in front of me right now.
And Alex just shared a great link in the chat from the Market Rebels about how miners are breaking new ground in Texas. So it's the new crypto capital.
It's becoming so. The energy is cheap. I mean, I will say the one caveat to Texas is we obviously saw the weakness of the grid. They are upgrading a lot of things currently. So, I mean, just to play the devil's advocate here for a second, but I believe that as long as Texas handles their energy shortfalls, then it's going to be the place to mine moving forward.
Oh, I actually saw one of an interview on that, if you don't mind me sharing, that they are actually buying energy ahead of time, and when there's trouble in the grid, they're not going to keep mining. So they're going to work with Texas quite nicely, Bitcoin miners going into Texas. So you don't have to worry about that fundamentally for Bitcoin.
Hey, I've always said Bitcoin is the single free market. It is the only free market out there available today. It's the only one. So moving forward, I believe, Ryan, you wanted me to comment a little bit on Ethereum, which I think is very important given we just saw EIP 1559 have an official date for August 4th. Now, we've gone over it a few times, just quick disclaimer. It's supposed to decrease fees as well as burn a portion of fees every transaction so that Ethereum eventually becomes deflationary instead of purely inflationary as it stands today. It's an oversimplification, but we can talk about that much more in the community if you'd like. Now, after the announcement, which I believe was earlier this week, we saw some price action and it really did try and bust up above the key resistance level of the 50 MA as it stands today, the 50 moving average. Now it's found support at the 200 moving average, which is good. We can see that there is a massive amount of order book interest here. And I believe that level starts at about the mid 1800 level. So if 2K does break, it is good to be aware that 1900, 1850 look very likely if 2K does break. Not saying it's going to happen, but it could. Now we're seeing we were seeing a bit of a divergence from Bitcoin in terms of just general volatility and stuff like that. But it has been more or less in line. And one could surmise based on this that it is not completely decoupled, although it could. Generally, when we see a massive Bitcoin increase, it kind of leaves everything in the dust for a second. So if you think that Bitcoin is going to bust up above 36K soon, maybe Ethereum is not your best bet. But if you believe that Bitcoin will have a slow rise up, and this is about the 36K level on Bitcoin, as you can see on the left side of the chart. If Bitcoin has a slow rise up, Ethereum may do the exact same and follow in Bitcoin's footsteps. Now, Bitcoin dominance is kind of wonky around the 45% level. And actually, I can probably pull that up for you guys to make things easier. We are seeing Bitcoin dominance hover right around 45%. It was on a downturn, more or less a bull flag, if you want to call it that, and it's rising. So I always worry whenever Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, especially while Bitcoin is gaining, some price action or looks bullish, what that ends up meaning for alts. Because if this increases, then Bitcoin's market share is greater than alts. Bitcoin commands more of the market. It becomes a darling in terms of the narrative, and then alts end up, falling back sometimes. We're not seeing that today, as you can see from the right side of my chart. Alts are very green, even though Bitcoin dominance is picking up. So we could see some altcoin resistance to Bitcoin dominance, and everything could move in one happy family. So I think the key metrics to look out for is if Bitcoin has a slow rise, Ethereum should as well. If Bitcoin spikes, expect Ethereum to not spike in that direction. And then if Bitcoin dominance continues to rise like this, expect alts to be suppressed, but just know that they are showing a lot more strength than you would expect in this range here.
All right. Thanks a lot for that, Nick. Really appreciate it. Alex has some really exciting news about a new channel in our community and also an update on the airdrop. So I'll let him take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. So so first I'm going to go with the new channel. The new channel is for Loopring. You members who were around a couple months ago may have remembered we had the Loopring folks in for, I believe, both an AMA and a Discord chat as well, video chat. So really nice group over there. If you don't know what Loopring is, they're a layer 2 exchange. So basically you go in there and you go through their process. They wrap the coins, they decrease fees. So it's a really actually cost-effective alternative to places like Uni and Sushi. Really love their product. It's become very popular over the last 8 to 10 months. Really proud of those guys. So we're going to have a new channel, which has been created already by Ryan. It's in Discord. I'm pretty sure all of you are in Discord who are watching this. If you aren't, please get in there via the TTC community tab on the top navigation of the TTC dashboards. Also, the team from Loopring will be in there. So we're going to have them in Discord again to go on live video chat with all of you. And you'll be able to interact with them. As you do, there's a lot of those channels counterparty channels have team members. A lot of them have team members from the actual counterparties in our Discord. So, you know, a lot of the times you can text questions to them right there, tag them and whatnot. So Loopring is going in, and with that being said, I will drop a secret hint. We don't just create channels for nothing. That being said, that being said, I'm going to go directly into the AMA with the Bitcoin.com exchange, since it is connected in some obscure, cloudy way that I can't talk about.
Yes.
But that will be scheduled for Wednesday. That will be over on Digital Asset News Clips channel with Rob as a host. And on that AMA, we will be making a few announcements. So that's going to be important. That's why it got postponed. It got postponed first because a hurricane hit Barbados, where Donish is, and it got postponed again from yesterday because we actually were holding out on letting everybody know the first rollout of announcements with regards to SENT token.
Great news, though. Huge news that we think you're all really going to enjoy.
It's the beginning of a battery of the news and announcements. So now I know how Steve feels over at Voyager. Ryan and I often are just like, oh my gosh, we're moving a million miles an hour, but everybody's biting at the bit. Okay, so with that, I think I am Ryan. I am able to mention that.
Yes, sir. Let him have it.
All right. So what everybody's been waiting for, the airdrop page for TTC members that we had talked about when SENT went live is going to be live. And so it's going to be a very simplistic thing for members between November 1st and May 31st to claim their SENT airdrop. And it will be live. I mean, it'll be live sooner, but I just our hard date is end of day Monday. But we'll have it done sooner. If we do have it done sooner, Ryan will announce it in the announcements. But it is here, folks. It has taken a month, and again, that's because going through legal and copyright and all this other good stuff. That because I'd throw something up there in a heartbeat, but then I'd probably, you know.
The lawyers wouldn't like that. Lawyers are not fans of breaking things and asking for forgiveness later.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, just to wrap that all up, the AMA will be Wednesday on Rob's channel, Digital Asset News Clips. It will involve the what I just said about the SENT airdrop, as well as what you can possibly do with the SENT airdrop. So we'll leave that for then. My next thing is new listings. We have new listings for the week, which are Pax Gold, tickers PAXG. We have Perpetual Protocol. I know you're happy about Pax Gold trading, Nichols. We have Perpetual Protocol, tickers PERP. So kind of like what the cops deal with, right? Perp.
Get the perp.
We have FIO Protocol, ticker is FIO. And last but not least for this week's listings, we have Beefy Finance, Beefy.finance. And it is, its ticker is BiFi. I just wanted to say that. It's BiFi. BIFI.
BIFI. Beefy. I love it.
Beefy.
Every time I see like a pit bull, I call it a beefy dog because they're always like so muscular and they make me feel so scrawny.
Oh, man. So that's all I got, Ryan. I mean, it's a lot of news, but yeah, that's it.
I'm really excited for that AMA next week because some of those announcements are, you know, a lot of our longtime members and supporters, I think, are going to be really pleased with what you and Donish have to share.
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard like hints dropped for months. So
I know we're so happy.
Like, aha.
We're so happy to finally start delivering the actual rollout. So it's really exciting. Our members have been waiting a long time as we've gone through this project over the last 6 months. So happy.
Indeed. Nichols, tell us how sentiment is on fire. About those early entries and hourlies. I know you got something good for us.
I tend to tweet about it and I try to post it up on the community as well so people can make use of it real time if they wish, if they like what they see. But I'm going to go ahead and share those tweets right now. That's just the easiest way to see it. All right, so share screen. And you guys can see Ethereum right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking one of the reasons why we may have had such a drop on Ethereum versus Bitcoin is because I saw a whale short covered that was about 40 times larger than what I normally see for regular price action through the day. That was huge. So there might have been a really big whale pushing well. Well, I know they were pushing it hard down yesterday because it was 40 times the size of what a normal large order was. But as far as sentiment goes, just picking back a little bit on Nick for that comment, is we have the hourly. And for a long time, I didn't really use the hourly. I didn't really get it. But when we put it as a graph, I started to really see it. Now, if we're just kind of steady on the hourly on the sentiment, it's not really signaling for an entry per se. Remember, not financial advice. I know I'm using the word signaling, but that's because it's at least signals for me. But if you look right here, we're pretty flat in price action, just a little bit range bound. We get a sudden drop, I enter, but I say nothing because I'm not providing a signal service. And then we have two big opportunities to take a short down. Okay, so I found that the hourly is useful. I didn't have any clue about how to use it before like Nick. My favorite was to look at the 7-day and the 1-day, and that's good for longer things. And you can use a long-term sentiment that's on the traditional board for even longer-term choices. Like Crucio, he loves to adjust by the month for what's very bullish and find what's the biggest for the longest term. And as an investor, you can make a lot more. But at the same time, we're kind of in a very sideways action market. So I've focused on scalping, and this is the tools that I've picked up. 25%, 30%, 50% sometimes. All these numbers are possible, obviously, with leverage on such a small range.
That's cool. I mean, I haven't really used the hourlies myself. I tend to stick
I
longer.
love the hourlies.
It's awesome if you just have a few hours like I've been having lately. So I can always find something to do.
Yeah. I'm usually more of a longer term guy. So like using the hourlies, I think I just get obsessed with that and I'd fall down a rabbit hole and I'd be in a room with the shades down and like the lights off, just staring at the glowing screen, not letting
love it.
hourlies.
Hey, speaking of hourly sentiment, ABA just skyrocketed 60 points in 3-4 hours.
Ooh.
It is at an 85 hourly sentiment right now.
Wow. That's a big pump. I almost forgot. Kraken loaded, put up Sol, and I took that for a 10% ride. But Sol's been awesome anyway, so it's not surprising. But still, with the listing on Kraken, I was able to use a SIGDEV, which was nice.
Now, one of the things interesting, actually, we have a couple of new folks in the AMA right now that I see. Ryan, do you want me to do a quick 1 hour sentiment trading strategy real quick? I haven't done one in a long time. I don't know if the new people want to see it.
In a minute. Yeah, absolutely. Please show us.
I'll only take up a couple of minutes of your time, folks, but I'm going to show you how I trade the 1 hour projection off the coin screener page. So let me get to my bookmarks. Apologize. I don't know why. I'm never ready. But here we go. Okay. So with this, I am going to go to the coin screener page here. This is where you, once you enter in, and folks, just so you know, if you like coins, you can just star them like this and go to filter favorites. It'll pick up your favorites. Okay. So that's always a good one. Also the customized column page too. This is the data that I like to have laid out. But going into the screener, I like to toggle the 1 hour projection real quick. I like to do it in descending order first so I could see what's popping on the screen, as Nick and Nichols have mentioned throughout the AMA here. The first thing that comes out of mind, this is what I do. I go down the 1 hour projection list, okay, because I want to see a dislocation in bottom and top percentages. right here, I can tell you that I do like Luna. And the reason I like Luna and not the ones above it is because what's off to the right. Okay. I love the fact that Luna right now has 114% increase in relative tweet volume. What that's telling me is there's a lot of news, a lot of sentiment being thrown around in the ethos about it. And the 1 hour projection being heavy weighted to the positive. And you can see this middle number. A lot of people ask what it is. That's the weighted average of the percentages. So the mean is weighted to the top side, which I like. But this is really good because it's telling me there's positive sentiment being thrown around. I go to the right after that, relative trading volume. I got 156% here. That means I got participants in the order book, okay? I got people that are actively creating volume on Luna right now. I'm liking that because from a liquidity standpoint, once I get my confirmation on these three indicators, I go left. Now, I'm doing the 1 hour projection, so I really am not going to pay attention to the long-term sentiment. I'm not even going to pay that much attention to the daily sentiment. I like 64 on the hourly. Here's what I really like. I like 38.79, 38.35% right here on the 30-day change. It's gone up. It's gone up tremendously, but it's not gone up parabolically. Okay. If I go to the 24-hour change, I got 13%. If I go to the 1 hour change, I got 1%. Now, why do I like the 1%? And by the way, that can be positive or negative to 5% for me. Okay. That's showing me I got low hourly volatility. So I don't have to try to plan my entry point as precisely, right? So if it's like a Ferris wheel going up and down, you're trying to jump into one of the things while it's moving, I don't have to do that. It's kind of at a stop. So from there, click over to the graph. I mean, we just got momentum trading upwards right now on the 1 day, the 7 day, look at that, perfect. This is actually one that I would trade right now directly off the screen without going to confirmation on the TA chart. So that's how I do it, folks. I go down the 1 hour. If you're looking to see what the 1 hour projection is, I go to the right to make sure we got some noise. And then I go to the left and just work my confirmations down the column until I get a decision in my head.
Thanks for that, Alex. And it's worth pointing out, I think, also that Nick, our Chief Community Officer, he's working on a series of videos and tutorials to help our members better understand how to use the dashboard, use the indicators, alerts, and some of the other features Trade the Chain has. So we hope to have those come out, some point early to mid next week.
Yep, everything from beginner to expert. So, basics to spotting opportunities to literally taking that opportunity and analyzing a chart. So it'll be fun.
It's gonna be awesome. I've gotten a sneak peek at a few already. They're good.
Yeah, good stuff. Absolutely.
Plus, Nick has a better soothing voice than you and me, Ryan.
Yeah, he doesn't have that nasally East Coast, like just whatever it is that we have. So absolutely. He has that nice Southern drawl, So I guess anyone watching, do you have any questions or comments or anything for us that you want to share?
And you can always get us in Discord if you don't ask them here. So while you guys are thinking about questions, I'm just going to drop this in. All right. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule. There's a race tomorrow. If you could kindly root for Team Trade the Chain, that would be tremendous. And we would greatly appreciate it.
Number 4 in your programs and number 1 in your hearts, Landon Castle.
Well, James, when it comes to Simon, just join us on the AMA at 1:30, and you can ask questions in live chat. I'm going to be pulling questions out along with Pat Ackerman and Rob. So, but I will write this down in case you don't join.
I just want to make a note, and I've been doing this weekly in the newsletter that I've been writing, but the members research or the community research channel, so technical analysis, fundamental, sentiment, members research, have been on fire lately. I just want to say thank you to all the community members who are contributing and who oft, pay attention to that channel and throw likes and stuff like that. It means a lot to myself and those who like to contribute. And then I also want to give a shout out to the DeFi channel, which I am not in often, but is popping off lately. And I know you guys are on top of pretty much every yield farming and liquidity mining situation out there. So kudos to everyone in those channels. And then finally, I've gotten a lot of DMs lately for people, who may not want to share research publicly, but I do want to just throw, a vote of confidence that the whole point of sharing research and ideas is not to mock, make fun of, or rip them up. We want you to share them publicly for all of the members, so that because I'm not the best at everything in crypto, and we have tons of members in there who are likely much smarter than I, who love to hop in and just add comments and help when needed. So if you are, afraid, feel free to DM me, and I'm more than willing to give you, some great, not advice, but help with the ideas of the analysis. But do know that no one is going to be mean to you for sharing something that may be off or that you need help on or a good question. That is literally what, members' ideas and the community is for. So please feel free to share anything that you have that is constructive, or is a learning opportunity in the community. We'd love to hear it. So just wanted to reiterate that.
It's not about being the smartest person in the room or coming across as the smartest person in the room, right? Everyone has different perspectives, different backgrounds, and different insights into the market. So being able to share those and perhaps, helping someone see something that they may not have seen before, or maybe if you're slightly off, a member can say, hey, you're almost there, and here's where just adjusting this slightly gets you to that finish line that you're looking for. It's a very positive, inclusive, and welcoming community. No one's abusive, no one's insulting. Everyone's there to help each other, celebrate the wins and lament the losses, because you can't win every trade. Yes, Alex.
If you don't mind, can I answer the queue that's in the queue? And
yeah, absolutely. So
okay, cool.
What's going on there? Are you bullish on Meld, Alex?
This is a great question. This is why I wanted to answer, because our buddy James over from City AM in London called me up a couple of weeks ago and asked me to introduce him to Rob, and he brought the Meld team in for Rob, because Rob's a really good fundamental guy when it comes to analysis over Digital Asset News. And I'd actually just dropped his YouTube video channel in the chats, because you're going to want to go over there. He did have the Meld team on. I'm not sure if that video was released yet. Nichols, do you know if he released a Meld review video?
I think he's been talking more about the WMO, is it, angle, where you can actually stake your Cardano to get that get the internet to the far reaches of the world where the internet's
the world mobile token.
Yeah, I don't think it's Meld. I think it's that.
No.
That
okay, so he hasn't had Meld out, but I just dropped his channel, and do me a favor, you can hit Rob in the Discord. So go into Discord and tag Digital Asset News and ask him about the Meld thing, because he just sat down with those guys, and obviously he's a Cardano expert. And he has his 2 staking pools, which I think have like $60 million in lockup. Yeah, don't even, Ryan, that's the same face I gave when he told me.
No, it's not that. I thought he released the video.
Oh, you weren't astounded the fact that Rob has 60 million or something in Cardano staking?
That's like him and his subscribers, viewers, and everything.
Yeah.
Alex, I apologize.
I'm not rolling that deep in Cardano, or else I'd be having very different conversations with him about diversification.
Alex, I apologize. I said wrong. On Digital Asset News Clips, he did do a video about Meld. And I was so focused on the taking a loan and the interest paying your payment for you.
Yeah.
I didn't focus on the name. I was just like,
so yeah, here's the premise for it, and why it's crazy. I got to look into this more. Is that it's a loan that you take that actually it pays itself back for you. It's odd. So I haven't done my research. I don't want to tell fibs here. I only do that in the bar after 6.
I just shared the video. Sorry.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get on the horn with Rob and
Yeah,
actually.
we could literally have a whole session about tokenizing real world assets on the blockchain, everything from gold to diamonds to real estate. It's an interesting industry.
Yeah. Another question. The second one I want to answer from. Yes, thank you. Is any insight into the zero token to relay swap? So I do have a little insight into that. There's actually going to be a claim page for that swap, and it's happening soon. I actually was talking back and forth with Graham from Zero Exchange yesterday. He shared some stuff that I can't share. So it's some really cool visual stuff and some of their outline of moving forward. But I told him he has to get on. He has to get on the show and answer the hard questions. When is the swap happening and some other things. So we're actually going to do an AMA with him. Ryan and I are going to do an AMA with him on Tuesday. Let me just check my chat here from him. Yes. So that's going to be Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do an AMA with Graham and we're going to ask the hard questions. So look out for that, folks. But I do know that there's actually cool stuff because he shared stuff I can't share. So
yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to that. Graham's a great guy. So I guess if no one else has any further questions and barring anything else that either Nichols, Nick, or Alex would like to add, is there anything?
No, have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. And Alex, we'll see you in about half an hour with Simon, Pat, and Rob from Digital Asset News.
Thank you for being members, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
100%.